So years ago, I actually came back from Singapore, and I wrote a couple of blogs in a Blogger or Blogspot. What the fucking name are you going to choose for this, Google? You suck worse than everybody. You can't even edit a blog on an iPhone or an iPad. There is no app for it.
Well, you can't really do anything on an iPhone or an iPad. I mean,
no, I do most stuff. Facebook actually started off sucky on an iPhone. It works. It works pretty decent. Twitter has always been good on any device. Always.
I will go to my grave not understanding the iPad.
Why?
There's no USB port on it.
Well, that's
What use is a mini computer without any ability to add anything, just a little bit of extra storage, for crying out loud?
Actually, they have a special adapter so you can plug in like an SD card to transfer pictures, but you can't put programs over there. Oh no, that would be not allowed.
To me,
I agree with that.
One of the big uses for a tablet to me would be, mind you, Microsoft came up with the whole flip prop-up thing on the back of it, which was ingenious, and why Apple hasn't put something like that on an iPad, I can't for life me figure out, because the two big dilemmas come up whenever I want to use some sort of a tablet. One, how am I going to prop this up on the tray in the airplane so I could look at the screen without having to hold it for hours on end? And two,
what someone needs to have they have these wedge-shaped things that you can buy, but that's good for the house. You're not going to take that goddamn thing on an airplane. You need a blow-up one.
It's another thing that I have to think of 5 minutes, before I'm getting ready to leave the house, or the day before.
And that's why people take their laptops.
I have enough things to deal with when I'm traveling. The last thing I need to deal with is, okay, what am I going to use to prop this thing up? And then two, pick and choose what your content you're going to put on the device based on the storage space available, because you can't just grab a hard drive filled of tons of TV shows and connect it to the USB port.
Here's what really cracks me up. So I pick up the iPhone and I use it all the time to do emails. Now, replying to an email from an iPhone kind of sucks. It's that one finger hunt and peck, right?
Yeah, right.
Once in a while, I check email on my iPad. But rather than being relatively up to date on the messages, it will show you the messages from the last time you were in it, which could have been a month ago.
Well,
so then you have to wait for the fucker to download the recent ones.
Well, that's because it's using cache data instead of just, going into your mailbox.
For sure. Right. I mean, I use the iPhone all the time, and sometimes, the last time it went and pulled in emails was 30 minutes ago. I have to wait a little bit to get the last one. Whereas the tablet may have
been off for 2 weeks. It's got 2 weeks worth of emails to catch
it's never been turned off.
Okay.
I use it for this game all the time, which is
gamerific. But
well, that's the game I've been playing on the background.
It's not this, it's that. It's your favorite internet radio show.
Insert title here.
The show that changes names so frequently. We just put a placeholder in. And hey, Russ, if you're out there, I have your tape, and I will get it back to you one way or another. And I know you're busy, but I can only do so much. So if you would please respond to my emails. I bought tickets to your show. Yes, I wanted to go anyways. But come on, Russ, work with me here. I got your tape. Right. Call me back, man.
What are the chances of them watching your show?
Very little, but I gotta, try it. I'm trying anything.
The link? Did you send them the link?
I tweet the link from time to time.
Did you do it this time? And did you address it to them? Yes, please watch your show because we have a message for you.
Well, the thing is, I don't even know who monitors their Twitter account. So, but I did.
What I like is
I did tweet them a picture of the tape.
Rachel Ray, when she starts her Twitch feed, it
Rachel?
says whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't she make cat food?
No,
never mind.
She body paints.
Right. I know it's a different one.
Yeah.
Except it's Rachel Ray that makes cat food, and apparently is a chef
food.
on these different
right
food shows. Why is she making pet food when she is a chef for humans? I don't get that. But anyway,
less complaints.
Ray Rachel, right?
Yeah, Ray Rachel.
Whatever. Her name is fucking backwards. But then again, I'm Blues Brian or Brian Blues, depending on which.
You're the one who's backwards. There's nothing backwards about Ray Rachel.
Anyway,
although that would be an interesting way to body paint.
When she starts the show, she says, Ray Rachel has a message for you. And she never does. Damn it. I
have noticed that.
What the fuck is my message?
That is a very clever stream title that she's put
now, of course,
on
there. Dune, if he's on yet. Hello, Dune. You say something really smart. Oh, that might be sarcasm. And you say, let's do this. And I'm saying, do fucking what? What? What are you doing, Dune? Put a comment here or join our show.
Well, I always put a comment or a note in, In fact, I mean, we have a show topic this week. And
we do?
We do.
Awesome.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of that, I might as well log in and see who our advertiser is.
And speaking of topics, we have Sparky Toaster in the house.
Sparky
going,
Toaster.
Yo. Hey, Brian, were you ever good with a yo-yo?
Not fair. I have an uncle that was actually pretty good.
Ah, cool.
He would do tricks and stuff.
And you do any tricks?
Oh shit, no. I'm not even sure if I have one right now.
I mean, you gotta do around the world. That's a great way to.
Yeah, right. There it is.
Around the world and knock out your brothers.
Okay. The ad that's playing.
Yes.
People at a switchboard, a person with a headset on.
Okay. Headset.
What the hell?
Switchboard.
Put the pagoda egg roll. I guess that was the ad.
Pagoda egg roll. Yeah, you know what? Sparky Toaster got pagoda egg rolls too.
I don't even know what that is.
I like it though. I like egg rolls. Does that come with a free tuna sandwich?
Have you been following the controversy of somebody took the tuna from Subway and had it tested, the DNA tested?
They tested for DNA, and they found out that it was related to their uncle. No, wait. Found out that they're distant cousins. They found there was no tuna DNA in the Subway tuna.
Yes. Okay. So apparently what they did wrong is that the DNA they tested was cooked tuna. And the test that they used didn't work right. Okay?
I mean...
And there was an apology or explanation issued by the people that did that. Of course, is everybody going to hear that? No. Turns out it's... is it skipjack tuna, I think?
Well, whatever it is, it's very similar to a lot of the way scientific studies are reported. Because yes, they ran a test on the tuna, and yes, they found that there were no traces of DNA in the cook sample of Subway tuna. But what does that mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's not tuna. Just because a cook sample of tuna from a restaurant has no DNA when a certain test is run on it doesn't mean that that's not tuna. That is not a conclusion. But people,
there are tests that can be done against cooked tuna that will be accurate.
Right. Well, science is always
just that the one they did didn't.
I mean, I think whoever ran
even that source is recent.
I think whoever
was actually fairly recent.
Well, I think whoever ran the test, though, had good intentions, but they didn't necessarily. You know, we got all of, like, the top researchers and scientists on, like, curing AIDS and dealing with the pandemic and all that stuff.
Right.
So we got like the B or the C team dealing with fast food tuna. So you know they What can I say?
I've been doing this thread, not to be controversial or anything, but I was doing this thread with a friend who was just saying, hey, you know, go out and get your vaccination.
Right.
And he's in Texas.
Okay.
One of his friends posted, no, I had COVID. I don't need the vaccination.
That's not how it works.
Hang on.
And I'll preach it to the choir.
So the argument starts.
Yeah. That's how the argument starts.
Everybody's being friendly. And my friend posted something saying, well, you should be getting it anyway, should consider getting it, blah, blah, blah. And she came back with a post of a link of some clinic in Cincinnati or whatever the fuck that said, if you've had COVID, you don't need a vaccine. And I said, congratulations, you have found somebody that agrees with your position. Best wishes with your decision. And I left it at that. You know what? Hey, you want to get it again? And that was after I had posted. One of the first responses was, I have heard of people that have had COVID 3 months would go by and then they get it again.
Now,
is that anecdotal? Is that scientific? That's just what I've heard.
But I know that, you know.
And this person claims to be a nurse, like a nurse is better than the average.
Now, Dune here apparently knows the people that were running the test on the tuna, because Dune here is saying absolutely conclusively that their intentions were to make Subway look bad, and in no way did they think they would test it and find tuna. Do you have some inside information here? That very well may be.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I like to
87% of
Brian, could I finish a single thought? We're barely 10 minutes in. I've not finished a single thought this episode.
I know, but we got to be on.
No, I got to be on a thought.
Oh, look at the cat. We're making the cat all nervous.
You're riling up the cat now, Brian.
Got the cat. Okay, finish your thought.
Now, I agree there is some, you know, shenanigans with the Subway thing, but I also have heard all the sides of the story. It has been something that's been talked about a lot in all angles. And you know what? Subway absolutely, or someone, there's plenty of people out there that could do it, should get a more conclusive test out there and get to the bottom of it, since now it is a topic that is a buzz. You know what? Of all the things that go viral, Subway tuna DNA test, I would not have called that. The people that ran the test, did they even think it was going to go viral? I don't know. I don't know these people. I like to give benefits of doubts. Maybe I like to give benefits of doubts too much. Maybe they were bad intentioned. I don't know. But I kind of think it was more of in my mind, the idea of testing DNA in Subway tuna is more of a yuck. Let's see what happens. Not, we're taking them down. I somehow doubt someone really wants to take this place down so bad they're going to run DNA tests on their food. I mean, there are plenty of ways to bring Subway down. I can think of better ways. I mean,
like for example, in Europe. They said, hey, Subway, you cannot call that stuff bread because the sugar that stuff is too much.
Right. It's really
which is funny.
More of a cake.
So what do we call it? So, yeah, cake. Yes, we can have our cake and eat it too at Subway.
I like the idea of a sandwich made with cake instead of bread. This is genius.
That's right. So anyway, back to what I was going to say. 80% of all statistics are made up on the spot, including the one that I just did.
Oh, that was lazy. You went with an even multiple of 10 that time. You're not even trying to sound random.
I know. In fact, I think I usually use 87%. Or if you want to sound more accurate, it's 87.3%.
Why have I not thought until now to start throwing decimals into this? Sparky Toaster rating in. They should test Starbucks high-priced coffee.
But what would they test it for?
DNA?
DNA of what? Coffee?
But who cares?
But we know that it's coffee.
Do we?
Sure. What do you think it is? Peanuts?
You know what? I've had some bitter peanuts in my day.
But it doesn't even taste like peanuts.
I mean, well, here's the thing.
Actually, when the controversy about the tuna came out,
right?
One guy, this was on Facebook. One guy said, "Hey, I used to work at a Subway, and we used what the hell? What's the brand with Charlie?
Starkist.
Starkist. We used Starkist tuna, and we recently bought Starkist. We normally get either Bumblebee or Starfish.
Uh-huh.
Chicken of the sea. Chicken of the sea or chicken or whatever. And I go, this isn't as good. It is a little cheaper, but I like chicken of the sea better. I mean, you know.
Well, I will say,
and maybe these canned tunas should be tested, because sometimes the can will say this is albacore tuna.
Now
it might not be.
Well, here's the thing. You said test Starbucks coffee for what? You know it's coffee. But here's the thing. Up until this article came out, I knew a tuna fish sandwich from Subway was tuna fish. I mean, I go into any Subway, I order a tuna fish sandwich. It looks like tuna. It tastes like tuna. What else could it be? But, you know, it could be another type of fish.
Oh, you know what's funny?
It could be but, you know, so who knows what coffee could be? Who knows what anything could be? Is any of this real?
In the U.S., we use the word tuna fish, and everybody understands what you mean. Okay, right?
Right.
You go to, Singapore, and you say tuna fish, and they look at you like, what the fuck? And one time I ordered tuna fish, and the person said, turkey? That's a great guess.
That's they both start with T.
It might even taste like turkey.
So they know what tuna is, but they don't know what tuna fish is.
Can you? Wow, isn't that wild?
Because
at least this one lady. I don't have the.
To be fair,
the bigger knowledge of it. Maybe it was the one person that was just confused.
You know what?
Of course, Americans talk fast, so maybe I was.
To be fair, Brian. To be fair, Brian. Let's say you're working in a sandwich shop making sandwiches.
Yeah, I don't make sandwiches ever.
And I walked in off the street, and I ordered a chicken bird sandwich.
You know, I don't. You know why? Yeah, that would be funny.
You'd be confused. You would be just as confused as the people in Singapore going, what's the deal with the tuna fish?
Yes,
chicken bird, tuna fish. Both equally confusing.
By the way, if anybody is not in the United States or even Canada, because sometimes people in Canada can understand us, what do you think of the word tuna fish?
Yeah, we should figure that out. And Sparky was a little bit confused if you were talking about the Philippines or the Singapore. It was Singapore.
Okay. Yeah, we always talk about the Philippines. Right?
So to them, ordering tuna fish sounds like what it would sound like to us if someone came in and ordered chicken bird or turkey bird, or ham pig, or
ham pig.
Beef cow. Can I get some roast beef cow and cheddar? Would you
I don't
like
know if you've
mayo
been
on
in
that?
a Subway lately, but they changed the menu.
They did?
Yes. So they used to promote this wrap that was a, let me try to think what's in it, a turkey, bacon, avocado wrap. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So after they changed the menu, I ordered that, right?
Okay.
They charged me an extra $1 for the bacon, and it charged me extra $1 for the avocado.
You've got to let me finish this because there's a lot of thoughts here, and if I get too sidetracked, we won't finish this till tomorrow. But all right, so Subway used to advertise the Southwest Turkey Bacon Sub, which is basically turkey sub with bacon on it and their Southwest Chipotle sauce. Now, this was like like 20 years ago that they would advertise this. Now, they still have the Chipotle Southwest sauce. They still have turkey bird. They still have bacon pig. So they have all the ingredients they need to make a Southwest turkey bacon sub. So, for a while it was going to a Subway, ask for a Southwest turkey bacon. They go, "Oh, you mean a turkey sandwich with bacon on it? They had Southwest sauce?" I'm like, yes, that. And I got to the point that I knew how to order the sandwich. I walk in, I like a turkey bacon sandwich, put some Southwest Chipotle sauce on that. And, went on my way. A little pepper jack cheese, put some onions, lettuce, tomato on there, some salt and pepper. Golden.
So when you... Oh, I'm sorry. Let's finish. Go ahead.
So that's fine. Well, one day we were traveling. It was Chris and I went to Disneyland for a vacation one year. We were in California. We took I-5 down south, and I learned that when you get on the 110, the traffic suddenly comes to a halt, and that's when you really get to test your brakes. But and they worked. They worked damn good, and so did the car behind me's brakes. Also worked damn good. It's like 70, 70, 70, 70, parking lot. Oh my God!
Now the cat left.
Oh, she'll be back. Have you ever had that experience down the LA area? I nearly had a heart attack, but that's not the point. We check into the hotel. It's night. We need to get a bite to eat before going to bed to wake up bright and early the next morning to have some Disney fun. And there's a Quiznos nearby. Now, I'm not familiar with the Quiznos, but they have bread, they have meats, they have a menu. And to me, it's like, when you go into a Subway, yes, they have their menu, but they also have their basic sandwiches so that you could pretty much just tell them what type of sandwich you want to build, and they give you a price, and that's that. Quiznos doesn't work that way. So I'm like, hey, can you get me a turkey sub, put some bacon on it, and I think you have a Southwest sauce that you use on your sandwiches. Can you make that? Then I go, well, that's not a sandwich on our menu. I'm like, well,
special orders don't upset us. We just don't make the order.
You got those ingredients. What do I need to do to get that? Well, you have to order something from the menu and then make changes to it. So I'm like, okay, can I have the ham sandwich? But could you replace the ham with turkey? Could you replace
special orders don't upset us. We just get very confused.
Now, I am exaggerating. I ordered some variety of turkey sandwich off their menu, but I basically had to completely redo their turkey sandwich to turn it into a turkey sandwich with some cheese on it and bacon and lettuce and tomato and a Southwest sauce. But it's like, how stupid do you got to be to not be able to deal with, we got these ingredients, that's the sandwich they want. It's like, dude, you know your system. If you got to do a replacement, why don't you figure that out and just tell me what it costs,
Right.
Why do I have to tell you how to put it into your system? It's your system.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what they should do, if they were smart, they says, okay, our system doesn't really work that way, but I'll work with you. So what we'll do is we'll give you a turkey sandwich, substituting this. This is what you want, right?
Yes.
So what I hate about, so number one, you know why Subway added the toaster oven for the sandwich? Do you want to toast that?
Right.
And at first I resisted because why? Because you think I want dried out bread?
Oh, it's awesome.
I kind of got used to it. But the reason why they added it is because Quizno had it standard as part of their system.
Yes.
Because they make together the sandwich, they put it down the conveyor, it goes through the whatever, right?
Right. Like a
The thing I hate about Quiznos, of course, I think all locations are now gone. They've gone out of business. If somebody knows of a Quiznos someplace, let me know. Anyway, So you go up to the register where you take the order. You place the order. You give him the money, and then he constructs it, throws it on the conveyor. Next customer, right?
Right.
So you walk down past the oven, and there it comes out. Or sometimes it takes a while. So you just kind of sit down pick a chair, sit down, and then they call your order, and you go, "Oh crap! I can't even remember what I ordered."
Yeah. That's not good.
And that's what I had now at Starbucks, they are supposed to put your name on the cup.
But there's a rule they must never spell it right.
Well, that's that's a good interruption.
Yeah.
So you know how to do it. So they have to you're supposed to put the name on your cup. They rarely do because the low-paid people rather be scratching their ass and play with our, little click buddies than actually play by the rules. So they just take the order, hand the cup over to, maybe they have the order written on the cup, or now there's a sticker that they put the order on the cup. So the guy that's actually making it knows what he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
And then at the end, they put it there and they may call out what they have. And you get 6 people grabbing for the same cup. Or whatever. It can happen.
Yeah.
Again, you have to remember what you ordered.
Got to remember.
Now, what the fuck did I get a pop from Amazon for?
Now, Sparky Toaster writing in, how many Quiznos locations are there in the United States in 2021? There are 218 Quiznos locations in the United States as of July 1st. The state with the most number of Quiznos locations in the U.S. is California, with 24 locations, which is 11% of all Quiznos locations in America. Wow.
Are they all in L.A.? Because there are none up here anymore.
There used to be a Quiznos near the Rasputin.
I know, it's gone. Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
They're gone. Right. There was one down in my valley, and it's been gone. It was gone first.
Interesting.
There was one in Singapore, and I believe that they're gone. I think they closed up before we left.
Well, it's funny. The Quiznos with their conveyor belt toaster, because Subway, they got the big ass microwave with a timer that doesn't even turn the oven off, so that the Subway worker is in the middle of making another sandwich and the beeper goes off, and they have to stop making your sandwich to take the last person's.
Well, they have two. They have a microwave.
Yeah,
and that's where they usually put the bacon.
Right,
and then they have the toaster, big huge toaster oven, where you can fit the whole. They put the sandwich on this special tray
on the black tray, and then they use it. They put it on the black thing. They put that on the tray. They put the tray in there. They had the gloves on. They put on the safety goggles and the hazmat suit, and then they hit the button.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
and this has nothing to do
steps.
with your topic, right?
No, because the conveyor belt toaster at Quiznos, I think, was really put to better use when it was being used by a chain of fast food that showed up at many a mall food court. Roly Boly. You ever had a Roly Boly?
Is that a sandwich?
It's more like a
pizza.
it's more like a Stromboli calzone type of thing.
So it's
Roly
kind of
Boly.
like a rolled up pizza.
Right. As
it were.
They have the dough, and you'd order different types of bowlies. Like I think I usually ordered it with the sausage pepperoni bowly, and so they put a bunch of sausage and pepperoni and mozzarella cheese and wrap it in the raw dough, and they put it in the one end of the toaster oven. It go through and cook right there while you're waiting. Out comes a nice crispy roly boly. Nice crispy crust bread on the outside with the gooey mozzarella and the pepperoni and the sausage, and they give you a cup of marinara. Oh my god, that was the damn best thing you could get from a New Jersey food court, hands down. I don't know if it was regional or if it made its way towards the West.
Did you ever see it in California?
I only ever saw it at the Bridgewater Commons, but I did find someone
in New Jersey.
Yes.
And do they have them in Massachusetts?
I've never seen one here, but I haven't seen one since I, stopped going to the Bridgewater Commons, and I don't think they have it there anymore the last few times I've been there. A guy on Reddit about a year ago asked if anyone heard of it, if anyone knows if it still exists, because there's nothing else quite like it. And it just devolves into a thread of people talking about remembering Roly Poly. I remember Roly Poly from Newport Mall of Jersey City in the early 90s. Used to give free samples out. Gosh, I thought there were only 2. There must have been at least 4 from what I'm hearing, because different people from New Jersey are sharing their memories. So I guess it was a regional Jersey mall court.
Should we try Wikipedia?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to have to do that. Roly Poly Wikipedia. Let's see. Well, there's a Roly Poly Facebook page.
Whoa!
There's someone has directions to the Bridgewater Commons Mall in Bridgewater, New Jersey.
That was 5 years ago.
How to get to the Freehold Mall in Freehold Township by bus or subway. So apparently, all right. Let's see what the Facebook page says. Let's see. Remember when year started with 19? Life was simpler, and Roly Poly was there to calm your soul with cheesy goodness. So yeah, I think this is a fan page that someone put up about Roly Poly.
So what you could do is you may have to join it before you can post, but join it and then you say, "Do these guys still exist?"
From what I'm seeing, you know what? Let's see if we can find any Roly Poly related materials on eBay, like hats or cups or uniforms.
Ooh.
No, I searched for Roly Poly on eBay, and a bunch of clown figures on scooters come up. But those are Roly Zoli, so that's just completely wrong, and will kill me in my sleep if I buy one of those. So there you go. But Sparky Toaster is scoping out the Northeast.
So
Quiznos
how is that spelled?
ROLIBOLI.
Okay, because ROLLEBOLLE is Belgian bowling.
Yeah, you can't eat that.
It's not a sandwich. Yeah,
No.
ROLI
space BOLI. There are 2 Quiznos in Pennsylvania, one in Pittsburgh and one in Hunker, and there's 1 Quiznos in New Jersey, in Jackson.
Okay, so the thing that I got was Capital Bra Discography. Do you know this band? German rapper.
Named Roly Poly?
Yep.
Never heard of the guy. But sometimes you might be looking for one artist, but you remembered wrong and you're searching with the wrong name.
No. His name is Capital Bra.
Oh, well, that's not.
But that's how the search went. I searched for
Roly that's not.
Poly, and that's what I got.
You searched for Roly Poly. It gave you search results for Capital Bra.
Yes.
What search engine are you using?
This is Wikipedia. Their searching sucks.
Right? Yeah, that's...
Yeah, because that's what I wanted was a rap artist.
Well, if there was a rap artist named Roly Poly, it'd be understandable, but Capital Bra is nothing like
exactly.
Roly Poly. I mean...
But that's a funny result, right?
Yeah.
Once you try to go, what the fuck?
I mean, it is funny, but I was too stuck on trying to make sense of it to appreciate.
No, it didn't make any sense at all. Like, how did you get Capital Bra out of Roly Poly?
If things are too weird, it distracts people from acknowledging the humor. You know?
Yeah, right. That's called stupid humor.
Yeah. I should know. I do a lot of that here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. But anyways, speaking of searching for the wrong things, I decided to put a topic on here based on something I discovered about 10 minutes before I created the show topic. And that is, you can't find a spark when you're looking for a stamp.
Hey, Sparky, do you understand what that means?
I was hoping Gothard would show up this week because he actually would stand a chance of possibly understanding the reference, although probably not. And it all started when I was dealing with the car because my main car is scheduled to be inspected and have the oil changed tomorrow morning. And originally I was going to drop it off tonight and then pick it up when they called me and told me it was ready to pick up. And then when I went to get the older car ready to go, I couldn't get the battery to hold a charge. I plugged it into my battery charger for I plugged it in.
Wait,
Sunday.
Is this the same old battery that we've been dealing with?
Well, it's about.
Oh, this is for the new car.
No, this is the old car, but I've changed that battery so many times I didn't want to change it again. But
right.
So I had a battery charger. I plugged in the battery charger on Sunday morning. We also had an incident before I could even get the battery charger plugged in because Friday I went to open up the door of the car to see if there was any charge or click or anything if I tried to start it, and a bunch of wasps started flying at me. So I quickly closed the door of the car and I bolted. And I said, Kristen, there's a surprise in the car for you. No, I didn't really say that. I warned her, Kristen, I know you love that car, and we're going to really miss it, but where are the matches? But matching the gas tank, boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, it was clear to me.
Well, I mean, you could just get one of those beekeeper smokers.
I bought a big-ass can of Raid is what I did. Well, first...
And you sprayed it inside the car, even though it's clearly marked as for outdoor use.
Yes.
Okay.
But that's where the wasps were. The car is outdoors, so that counts.
Yes.
So
yes.
So well, when I told Christian that there were wasps have invaded the car, she said, "Well, let me go check it out." And she grabbed an umbrella and made her way to the door. And Dune won't forgive me for not videoing this, but
yeah,
it really wasn't.
Do you have a video camera? Or use your iPhone for that?
Remember,
if
you're gonna take video with your phone, always do it like this.
Oh yeah, I have no argument with that at all.
Okay, so Kristen goes out to the car with her umbrella, and she opens up the door. She steps back and she sees, it looks like there's some activity here, and she closed the door with the umbrella. And so we talked about it, and we came up with a foolproof plan. I would go to the store the next day. I'd buy those bug bombs that you use to fog your house when you're not in it. And we would just throw one of those in the car the next evening, quick open up the door, throw it in, pull the thing, throw it in, close the door, and just let that do its thing overnight and run away. But I went to the grocery store. They didn't have the bug bomb things. They only had the big-ass can of Hornet
you probably would have to go Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah. And I didn't feel like driving out to Route 1. So I bought the big-ass can of spray stuff, and I said, all right, Kristen, you up for using the spray? It sprays up to 23 feet. And she goes, yeah, I could do that. And so she went out that evening, hit them dead on, about 10
Was
wasps.
there a nest that she could see?
There was some, during the day, she found a nest underneath the car, sticking to the bottom of the car. And it's not in the car. Well, they were in the car too. The wasps are going in the car through the crack of the door.
Yeah. They're crawling through the crack in the door?
Yeah, and she killed 10 of them. She opened up the door, nailed them, and it was like a cluster of 10 of them all together inside the car at night. And that seemed to, and there were a few small paper nests in the car that she scraped off and sprayed out. And the nest that was under the car, she kicked that off during the day and kicked it away from the car to get him away from there. And she sprayed that too when I got the spray. So so we cleared that all out. And by we, I mean my lovely wife cleared that all out, sparing me from having to.
Because you would not go near that.
No. Sparky Toast
You'd rather have a sandwich because... Never mind.
I'm not going anywhere near that. No way.
No, I get that.
No, I was resigned to blowing up the car and coming up with how to explain this to the insurance company. But anyways,
or what you could do is go to Chappaquiddick and drive off the road there.
Yeah. Well, just don't do that with a Volkswagen Beetle.
I know, because the damn things float.
But anyways, so Sunday morning I plug in the battery charger to charge up the battery to try to get it good enough to at least start up to get a round trip to the shop and back to drop off the car. So it runs all day Sunday. It charges overnight. And then this afternoon, I take the charger off. I try to start the car, and I get a bunch of click sounds. I tested the voltmeter. Now, mind you, it held enough of a charge to run the radio. Now, Sparky Toaster, I will say I bought the cheapest battery charger that money can buy. This is probably better suited as a trickle charger to keep on it, to keep a charge, not to recharge. I realized that, I might have to leave it on for a day or two to charge. It is a 1 amp charger. And now we got to pause for Sparky Toaster's laughing. So 1 amp charger, he's probably still laughing. He's probably pointing at me at the screen there. You thought you... You honestly thought...
What did he say there?
he wrote,
magnifying glass.
OMG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's still laughing. He's still laughing at me trying to charge a dead car battery with a 1 amp battery charger that was clearly meant for trickle charge to keep a fully charged battery charged and not for charging a dead battery. But in my defense, I got the car to start before by connecting that charger for an overnight period. But after having it connected for all day Sunday, all night, and half of the day today, I was measuring with my voltmeter 11.5 volts on my 12-volt battery. Although the internet tells me that a 12-volt, if a car battery measures 12 volts, it's dead. It really needs to measure more like 12.3, 13. I don't, and also the internet says it has nothing to do with how many volts the battery is. It has to do with the amps that it can draw when it's trying to start. So it's
absolutely.
Sparky Toast said yes, you need 12.6 volts, and my car would not start with 11.5 volts, and maybe if I kept charging it, it would have gotten charged, but it also would have drained as well. And I know from last time when I got the battery charged and I got it started and I took it for a 15-minute drive down the highway, and then 2 days later it went to start again, that battery's probably dead. So I just decided, I need to go out to ship some packages anyway, so I took the battery out of the car that I spent 2 days trying to charge up to 11 volts, and I brought it to the AutoZone and bought a new battery. So the car's back on the road. Yay. But I got a text that my inspection oil change is scheduled for 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to show up and wait in the waiting area for them to do that, because inspection and oil change is something that you could just show up and wait. As long as they're really going to do it first thing in the morning when the text says my appointment's
and that type of thing, that's an appointment, right?
Well, here's the thing. I told them I'll drop it off the night before, just do it whenever. And then she sent me the text that my schedule was for 8 a.m. And I know 8 a.m. is when they do the first appointment. So I'm like, she and I made the appointment like last week. So she basically put me in to be first on Tuesday. So
you can't say, no, I want to show up at 10.
Right. I can't do that.
They don't work that way.
No. Well, I mean, I could have asked for 10 when I was making the appointment, but I said, just put me in on Tuesday, and they put me in first thing Tuesday.
Yeah.
But when I was cleaning out the car, I found this cassette in the car. That was the point of this story.
Yeah, this is the car with the Wasps, right?
It doesn't have Wasps anymore. It's got a new battery, and I took it for a drive, and no wasps came out of the vent when I turned on the air conditioning. Sparky Toaster writing in, Johnny, why don't you put a battery kill switch on the negative side of the battery terminal? That way there are no vampire current draws on the battery when the car sits for long periods. That's a good idea. I have a few options.
But if you do that, then you have to reset your clock and any other settings that rely on the battery to be there.
Well, I'm going to try to make a better effort to get that car on the road.
What I would
once
do,
a week.
what I would do is just go out and get one of these small solar panel battery chargers.
That's an idea.
Yeah, they're probably $30 or so.
Trickle charge with a solar charger.
Now, usually they'll plug it in the cigarette lighter, but then you have to modify the cigarette lighter to be always on, even with the car turned off. Okay. But better to wire it directly to the battery.
That's an option. For now, I'm going to try to make an effort to take it out grocery shopping. Every other trip.
Instead of using Dial Dash or Deal Dash, whatever they're called,
DoorDash
or
Eats,
DoorDash, yeah, or Uber Eats or whatever. Instead of using them, use that excuse to use the goddamn car, or just get rid of the car.
If I could, it's at this point, there's not much value left in that car, and it's worthwhile having a second car.
Maybe there's some kid that needs a car.
But when I need to drop off first of all, it's Kristen's car. And second of all, it's useful to have a second car when I need to drop off the main car. And it's also good to have a backup car.
Uber is no good?
I have 2 cars. I don't need Uber. I have 2 cars.
But
why would I change
you're clearly not using it enough to make it.
Well, I'll start using it.
Okay.
I like that car. I bought it.
I know. It's a station wagon.
Yeah. You say that like it's a bad thing.
Did I tell you the reason why station wagons are really good? You know the area where station wagons are really good?
What's that?
I mean, really good.
Yeah.
Demolition Derby. The station wagon survives the crashes better than any other car.
Okay, well that's I'm working up to that, but this car still has some life in it for other things. But that is something to consider.
And what you could do is you go to a demolition derby, and you have a little business card you make up. You can print those yourself nowadays and pass them out. This station wagon is available for demolition derby.
Oh, there we go.
Although to be honest, I'm not sure if there's a difference. And I'm guessing the answer is yes. A difference between body and frame cars versus unibody. And I suspect that your station wagon is unibody, which means it has a crush zone, which means in a demolition derby, the motherfucker would be crushed.
But anyways, the point is, when I was cleaning out the car today to get the battery changed and get it back on the road, I realized I found this tape in the back in a little side door compartment, one of the back seat doors.
Sweet.
And this is the cassette of my senior year of high school concert band concert. And I was like, wow, this has been sitting in that car since I packed it to move across the country out of California. And it's the only copy I have of it. So I'm glad I found it before it got destroyed in the fire of, getting rid of the wasps. But anyways, yeah.
Wait, there was a fire?
Oh, well, I before there would be a fire, but there wasn't a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
incidentally, Chrysler Imperial, I have to agree with that. If you can find one still.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably do better than my Ford Taurus. But anyways, so yeah, I had to pull out my cassette deck here to see if this still works. And yeah, it still works. And it still sounds good. And this here is something we played in the concert band senior year. This is called Haven Dance. And this is probably I queued up the tape here because this is the one I remember the most from that year.
So you could have lost this
if I burned the car.
Tape forever.
I'd have to find someone I was in high school with that's still speaking to me. I think Sebastian still speaks to me, so Sebastian might have a copy. But
now, have you digitized this thing?
Not yet, but I'm gonna do that pretty soon.
Yeah.
I need
While
to
it still plays, right?
It's the only tape of my high school band tapes that I've not digitized. I did the junior, the freshman, sophomore, junior year tapes. Actually, my junior year, I didn't buy the tape. I borrowed the tape from a friend, and then that friend stopped speaking to me. So I tried to give him back the tape, but he wouldn't even respond to me about giving him back the tape. So he doesn't have one now, and I do. So
and maybe he doesn't care.
Well, he probably didn't care at the time he stopped speaking to me, but at some point in time,
he just doesn't care about the tape, and he probably will just forget about it.
Yeah, but at some point you start looking back at time and go, "Oh man, I thought I had that tape." He's gonna miss that tape someday. Mark my words. He still won't speak to me because he's stubborn.
That is one of my favorite phrases.
Mark my words.
Mark my words. How do you do that, right? When it's spoken, do I get a pen and scribble there?
Well, you're supposed to mark them down. Mark my words. Sparky Toaster going in. Johnny, did you know that tape was even missing? Or did you forget about that tape until you found it? Well, here's the thing. I was aware I had this tape. And I was, if you asked me, do you have your high school recordings? I would say, I'll digitize freshman, sophomore, junior year. I don't think I did senior year yet. That tape's probably in a box in my closet with the rest of my cassettes. So, no, I didn't know it was missing. I didn't know it wasn't with the other tapes.
Let me ask you this question. This tape, was this produced by the music department and distributed to the students?
The music department would hire a company to come in, set microphones up, and record the tape, and then we ordered tapes. We had to order them. We didn't just automatically get them for being in the band.
Yeah. So
that's why I don't have a junior year tape.
You paid for it then.
My parents paid for it, but
sure. I think in my band, well, this was before tapes, but I think there was, it might have been my senior year, I don't remember, but we had a concert taped and then put on vinyl. I don't even remember having the vinyl, but I'm sure at one point we did.
I've found things like that. Like when you go record shopping, every now and then you find a high school or college band concert on vinyl, and that's the type of shit that if it's $1, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
just because.
So do you have a collection of high school band music?
Well, I think there's only one I can think of that I actually bought and kept, and that is at the Goodwill.
What do you mean bought and kept?
Well,
you would throw something like that away? Or sell it on eBay for a lot of money?
I don't think, I think when I've found them, they've been more than $1, and I wouldn't spend more than $1. But there was one I found that was $1 that I know I have. Maybe I have some others, and I have a lot of dollar bin shit that I need to sort through that's oddball stuff that I don't remember off the top of my head. Like Irish folk songs or bagpipe music, Swiss Alp yodeling. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of oddball records that are just in the section that's like the oddball stuff.
Do you have anything that's not oddball?
I think my Hendrix collection's pretty standard, but
okay.
I got Beatles. You heard of the Beatles? They're this band in the '60s,
right.
based out of Liverpool, and I think they sold some records.
They were kind of popular.
But no. Anyways,
a friend of mine from the UK just tweeted today about this band I never heard of. Says, "This is the best band ever." It is? I never heard of it.
Oh, that would be Sparks.
No.
No.
I'll even try to look it up for you.
Which is not the spark I'm referring to in my topic, but we'll get there. We're on our way to get into the topic.
That's a dramatic ending.
Yeah, that was a good piece. I like that one. I'm glad the tape survived. I'm gonna have to digitize that. Anyways, so that tape got me thinking about college concert band, because they did and they didn't make concert recordings available to us in college. Like the recording department recorded the concerts. So if you were friends with the guy that was recording the concert, you could probably get a copy off of him. There was an office that would sell cassette copies, but the people that were running the cassette dubs didn't know how to dub cassettes properly or set levels. So usually if you bought it through them, you get a very poorly dubbed cassette. And at this point, by the time I was in college, we were all buying CD burners. We had no interest in buying cassettes from the office. So it was usually trying to get a hold of whoever recorded the concert and do a CDR trade with them. And I did not manage to pull that off for all of my college concerts, which is something I lament at this point, because when I said mark my words, I was speaking out of experience, because I'm like, damn, I really wish I put more effort into getting all those recordings back then in college. But there was a piece that we played in this symphonic band one year that I could hear in my head. I could play it. I remember the melody, but I could not for the life of me remember what it was. But I remembered that there was a composer named Jack Stamp that did a lot of compositions that we played in concert band. And so I thought, it was probably something by Jack Stamp. And so for a few years, every now and then when the thought would come to my mind, I'd start Googling Jack Stamp compositions and listening to them, trying to find this composition I played in college that I forgot the name of, thinking it was a Jack Stamp composition. Well, today, listening to this tape inspired me to start thinking about college concert band and that piece again. And I was thinking to myself, Jack Stamp was the composer? And I'm Googling Jack Stamp, and I think to myself, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the name Philip Spark pops into my head. And it was the type of thing that I thought I was making it up. Like, why am I searching the name Philip Spark? Is that because that's something I actually remember, or am I just inventing names now? And sure enough, when I Googled Philip Spark, the results came back that there was a composer named Philip Spark. And I'm like, oh my God, that was actually a memory. And sure enough, I found that it was Dance Movements by Philip Spark that we played in college, which had different movements. And, of course, this is the one I remembered here. And the thing about Philip Spark was that he always loved to get creative with the time signatures. I mean, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Da, 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 1, 2, 3. Ba, ba, da, 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 da. He drops a half a beat, which trips you up, but it's cool when you finally get in the rhythm of it. But I thought this was a cool piece, and so I finally found it, because all these years I was looking for Jack Stamp when I should have been looking for Philip Spark.
Stamp, Spark. Pretty close.
They're both words.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both last names that are words. That's how I think I confused them. It was, Spark, Stamp. I somehow filed them under composer last names that are words, and then got my wires crossed there. But it's a nice piece. It now goes to this thing where you got the bells and the piano arpeggio. Some wise ass in the back of the room start making bird sound effects during rehearsal during this, which I always got a kick out of. I don't remember what year we did this, though, and I don't know how I would ever dig up the recording of this. But recordings of my concerts in college probably are still filed away in the archives of the college. But I don't know if it's worth... Or the
company that did the recordings, would they still have...
Brian, I went to college for music recording technology. the music recording students.
So in that case, you guys did the recording.
We did the recordings and we submitted it to the office after it was done. Sparky Toaster writing, and does this make you feel young and skinny again, Johnny? Oh, college was when I put on the weight.
Too much New Jersey pizza, right?
It makes you feel young with a head full of hair again.
Yeah. But too much New Jersey pizza that was delivered from New Jersey.
And roly-boly. On the summer breaks, I go to the Bridgewater Commons, getting myself a roly-boly.
Because the college you went to was in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
And how far from the New Jersey border?
Oh, far enough that I wasn't ordering in pizza. There were some pizzerias that were passable in that area of Pennsylvania.
Oh.
It was, mind you, it was close to Hershey, so
Oh, so chocolate pizza,
or no, chocolate cow shit.
That too.
No, because mind you, Hershey is where the chocolate factory is, and it's also where Amish country is. So depending on
and Reese's.
And Reese's. But depending on which way the wind was blowing, some days you walked outside to walk to class and you smelled chocolate in the air, and other days you walked outside and you smelled cow shit in the air. It depends which direction the wind was blowing.
Just north of downtown Denver, there's a smell that you do not want to smell. It smells awful. Apparently, that's where they slaughter cows.
Ooh. And Sparky Toaster...
I can't even describe the smell.
Sparky Toaster asking... Sparky Toaster asking what college in PA did you go to? Lebanon Valley College in Annville, Pennsylvania.
Run by some Amish people.
No, it was not.
No,
it was not an Amish college. Actually, there were more Mennonites than Amish in that area, but there was Amish, there was Mennonites.
There isn't a huge difference between Amish and Mennonite.
They're
kind of like twin sisters.
Well, the Mennonites are Amish with cable, but
there you go. It's like a person from New Zealand or a Kiwi is like an Australian with an attitude.
There you go. Being that I went to see the stand-up comedian sophomore year, I basically heard every lame Amish joke a stand-up comedian can come up with because really, yeah.
Do you remember any of these the good ones?
There's only one I remember that was good. The rest were kind of lame. But the good one was, and this is one that the comedian already had a routine, and he worked it into the routine, and he was talking about NyQuil. And, man, that's the good stuff, that NyQuil. Man, I mean, you take that, knocks you right out. Woo! Add a bit of orange juice to that, you got yourself a Mennonite screwdriver.
Some varnish?
Orange juice.
Orange juice.
Add yourself some orange juice to that, and you got yourself a Mennonite screwdriver. Because Mennonites don't drink alcohol. NyQuil's pretty strong. So you add orange juice to the NyQuil, and you have yourself a Mennonite screwdriver. That was funny. Sparky, I know what's funny.
Sparky, look up how much alcohol is in NyQuil.
Now, Sparky Toaster knows where Annville is. Yeah, it's right near Cleona. But anyway.
Is Cleona as an STD?
Well, I just know that the school in the area was Annville Cleona School, so I that's how I know that the town next to Annville is Cleona. So I just threw that out there.
Is that school a high school or?
I don't know. Yes, it is a high school. I think I think some of the music education students would do student teaching at Annville Cleona, a high school. So how
did you select this college in the middle of Amishville?
Because they had the music recording program.
Oh, so very specific.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I was in high school, and I was doing well with math classes and science classes, not doing too well with English classes. And, of course, as you go through high school, you start to give thought to, well, what are you going to major in college? And it was very obvious to my parents that I took a strong interest in computers and was good with that. So there was a lot of encouragement on me to focus my energies on computers and to consider the options of computer science for a college major. And so I took some computer programming classes in high school when I had a few electives free. I took a junior year, I had an elective to take computer programming in BASIC, and then senior year I took computer programming in C, and I did all right with that.
Cool.
And it wasn't a very well taught class. It was taught by a math professor that knew enough to teach programming from a textbook. But
that's kind of typical, and actually worse when I took computer, because we didn't even have a computer science department.
Right.
Computer science was part of the engineering department.
No, we had
spun off from electrical engineering.
Yeah.
Well,
your Alexa responds to the word computer, and we're talking about computers right now. So.
Yes, and it's going to tell us all about it. Computer. Computer, stop.
But
stop.
Sparky Toaster responding to our question about NyQuil. NyQuil liquid contains 10% alcohol.
Yes.
NyQuil liquid caps does not contain alcohol. Alcohol-free NyQuil cold flu nighttime relief does not contain alcohol. So yeah, a Mennonite screwdriver would consist of that NyQuil that has 10% alcohol and orange juice.
So what we do is we tell them, don't use the liquid caps.
Don't use the liquid caps or the alcohol-free stuff.
It would probably dissolve the liquid cap, do you think? The alcohol?
But it doesn't contain any alcohol, so it doesn't really matter.
I know. If the reason why it doesn't is because it would be dissolving the capsule.
Right. So anyway.
or you could use a Listerine,
right,
as a Mennonite screwdriver. Just add orange juice.
Yeah, but
would that not be disgusting?
Well, the thing is, though, is that NyQuil is meant to be ingested and Listerine isn't. So if you really want to follow the strict rules and have an excuse for imbibing alcohol, NyQuil would probably stand a chance of, being acceptable for a Mennonite to ingest if they have a cold. And, the orange juice just helps it go down.
Yeah.
A Mennonite screwdriver. I still love that joke. Anyways, that gives you the idea how bad the other jokes were.
Hey, at least Sparky Toaster says ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Or was that on that joke?
But you failed the class on battery chargers. Yeah. So,
yeah, but see, that wasn't part of the computer science curriculum.
So, mind you, we were looking at colleges in New Jersey that had good computer departments. One of the colleges that came up as a good technical school to go to for a computer science major was NJIT. And NJIT was based out of Newark, New Jersey. I had never been to Newark other than the airport. So, my dad said, well, why don't we get in the car and drive out there and check out NJIT? And we drove into Newark, New Jersey. And my dad parked the car and says, anyone want to get out and look around? And me and my mom said in unison, no. And we unparked the car and drove back home. So that was about the extent of my investigating NJIT. Now, my friend Doug, the guy who doesn't speak to me, whose tape I still have, apparently he also went and checked out NJIT. And he went on the tour. And he asked the security guy, how's the security here? Is it safe? The security guy says, oh, yeah, sure, you're safe right here. You're on your own when you cross the street, though.
It sounds like you're talking about San Jose State.
Yeah. So,
although I'm not sure if you're safe on the campus.
But, yeah. Well, the security guard thinks you're safe on the campus, but he also warned you you're on your own if you go out there. Right. So, yeah, Newark, New Jersey, not exactly where I wanted to be going to college.
Right,
and then I also was looking into Trenton State College, which changed its name to the College of New Jersey, although when they unveiled the new sign, there was an error in spelling, and so for a while they were the College of New Jersey, but they got that fixed pretty quick. I applied there, was accepted there. they're a good liberal arts college, and they had a computer science department. My dad wasn't too impressed with their computer science department, though, and I'm just like, whatever. Yeah. It's a school. It's in New Jersey. I'll go there. I'll go anywhere. We checked out the engineering department at Rowan, which was used to be Glassboro University, but then the Rowan family made a huge donation to buy them an engineering department, and so they changed the name to Rowan University. They had a really awesome engineering department, but I wasn't interested in majoring in engineering. My parents thought I'd be good at it, but so at some point, one of my parents read something somewhere about Lebanon Valley College and their music recording technology department, which is something that is unique and not many colleges have. That's one of the things that made LVC unique, was their music recording program. And unlike other schools where it's a tech program, it was a music degree program. You got to, instead of getting BS, you got a BM, Bachelor of Music, emphasis on music recording technology. And so it was very unique.
And then you could say your degree is a real bummer.
Yeah, you could say that.
Not a very good joke, though.
So, but once I heard about this, I was like, oh my God, that is what I want to do. And so my parents wanted to be supportive and encourage me to do what I want to do, even though it's one of those long shot type of careers like being a rock star. And so I got into the college and went there for 4 years. And that's how I learned how to do this, all I needed to know to do this internet radio show. And then I got a job in tech support fixing computers, which is what we knew I was good at all along anyways.
Right.
No, but I have no regrets about that. I mean, here's the thing, is that the music industry was changing as we knew it while I was in college. I mean,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, when I was in college was when MP3 started being a thing. And when I got out of college is when someone finally figured out, well, maybe if we charge money for them, we could start making money again.
Right.
But the big thing that really changed more than MP3s is the technology to record music. People will record their own stuff, make their own demos. It used to be, if you wanted to have a demo to try to promote yourself, you rented some studio time. So, studios are still recording albums, but they lost all that extra income from people that would book studio time to record their demos, because people were making more of their own recordings at home. People make their own albums themselves at home, sell them themselves. I mean, the technology.
You can even use an iPhone to do that.
Yeah, the evolution of technology really started to get to that point when I was in college, that my jobs were becoming not obsolete, but less needed. You know.
But even still, you can get a local band that has a guy that's a member of the band, maybe
that's their
friend
sound
of the
guy.
Band that also does the recording.
Right. Well, you got to be another starving artist on the road with the band.
Right.
That's in it for the love of music.
And chances are they're not paying you very much.
Right. You're all living out of a van.
Oh, just a friend. You're just a friend, right? We'll have you in the trailer with the equipment.
Now, mind you, I made a few connections and a few friends along the way as I tried to, I didn't dive in head first, because I knew that there was likely not enough water in that pool to sustain a head first dive. So I dipped my toes in and got a little wet. Maybe I should have dived in and see what would have happened. I have no regrets not doing that, because my life turned out fine and I'm quite happy where I am. But I do acknowledge that if I really wanted to make that work, I probably should have dived in a little more. But that wasn't for me, and I applied to a few studios. At some point I gave up sending in applications after calls stopped coming in. I was working with that Peter Barron guy at his little home studio, but there wasn't much money coming in there. But that was a cool contact I made. We're still Facebook friends. He's a cool guy. There were a few local musicians in my area in New Jersey that I would, kind of hang out with, run sound for them, jam with them. But there was no money involved there. That was just kind of spare time jamming type of thing. And if what they were doing ever caught on and they needed a sound guy to pay, I would have had an in. But they never got to the point of making money. So, you know, but they were good people. They were friends that we made. So, yeah. And Sparky went to Lincoln Tech in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I would drive through Allentown on my way to Annville. Annville, pretty much, to give you an idea. Well, yeah, you already know where. Well, you know where Hershey is, right, Brian?
Yeah, kind of central Pennsylvania, right?
No, it's still kind of eastern Pennsylvania, but it's not right on the Jersey border. You got to take 78 out to 81. Yeah, but it's close to Harrisburg.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been through Hershey or not.
Yeah, we went to Hershey as a family vacation. They had an awesome tilt-a-whirl. Nearly made my dad puke his guts out. Not quite, but he wanted to. We somehow unbalanced
nothing like family memories, right?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go on the tilt-a-whirl because I love spinning rides, and so my dad's like, "Yeah, all right, we'll go on the tilt-a-whirl." And we went with some neighborhood friends, friends of another family on our block that my parents are friends with, and they had a few kids. And so we all went on a big family vacation together.
So how long is the drive from where you lived to Hershey?
All right. So that would be from Hillsborough, New Jersey to Hershey,
I was just going off
PA.
of what you remembered.
Probably 2 hours, I would guess. 2 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about 2.5 hour drive.
Of course, in California, you go 2 hours and you're not out of the state yet.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, we went to Hershey Park, and at some point, one of the kids of the other family wanted to go on the Ferris wheel, and I wanted to go on the tilt-a-whirl. So it's like, all right, we'll split up. And so me and Dad went on the tilt-a-whirl, and the rest of them went over to the Ferris wheel. And we wait online, we get on the tilt-a-whirl, and we got the thing. You know how the tilt-a-whirl works, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's the one that the thing's on a free track. And
it starts off horizontal, and then it's...
No, that's not tilt-a-whirl. Let me see if I can find a video for you of the tilt-a-whirl. But it's here we go. Oh, and this is the Hershey Park tilt-a-whirl. I just found a video of.
Even better. Not just this one, but it's the one we're talking about.
It's the one we're talking about. So here we go. We're going to share that window. So as you see, you have these like big red backed seats.
Yeah.
And they're on a circular track that they can spin around.
Who's that guy?
That's the guy that's making the video, maybe. But you see they're free moving based on the way that it angles up and down as the whole thing spins. So how much that spins varies, and one of the good ways. And so you kind of lean into it different ways to try to get it going, and every now and then you get it to do a really fast whip around multiple times.
Yeah,
because as you can see, like right now they're not moving all that fast, but every now and then you see one starts to really whip around.
Yeah.
And I got that thing in a cycle that it just whipped around nonstop. I was loving it. My dad's trying to lean away to get it to stop spinning. I'm just like, woohoo!
Okay. So it's sort of horizontal, but not exactly.
It's not the thing that goes up like you were talking about, but
but horizontal, but then it's kind of wavy, right?
Yeah.
So it's not perfectly flat.
It waves to get the thing to spin around on its circular track that it's on. And if you time it right, you can get it to just whip around. And I got that thing, like I said, it was whipping around nonstop the whole time.
Your dad didn't realize that he was with an expert.
It was the best tilt-a-whirl ride I was ever on. Ever since then, I've never gotten a tilt-a-whirl to loop like that again. But I really managed to get that one going, and then we got off, and I'm just like, woohoo! And my dad's like, we need to sit down, and so we sat down, and then the rest of the group that split up came back, and the first words out of their mouth were to my dad, going, "Hey, you okay?" because they could see on his face that he was not.
So there was a
okay.
ride. There was a ride in the amusement park that I was working at.
Yeah.
And I was working at the game station below it. One of these stupid pitch a dime things, right? That's a total waste of money because it's very hard. Okay, so above it was this thing where you walk into the thing and you're standing against the wall. It's circular. The thing starts spinning, right?
Right.
And then the floor drops out. So you just kind of... Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Well,
but that was great as a super barf ride. I remember one kid coming down the thing and he had puke from head to toe. And he said, Bobby, threw up on me. and then behind him, you see coming down, oh, it's Bobby. He was looking really sick. It was kind of like a sight for sore eyes. You felt bad for him, but you couldn't stop from laughing.
I've never been on one of the ones at the floor drops, but they had a similar thing to that at Seaside Heights called the Gravitron that looked like a some kind of a flying saucer type of thing. And what it was is that it had padded, not seats, but padded things that you'd lean your back up against on the wall. And then when it spun really fast, they were on a rail so that they would shift up higher up away from the floor. So you'd kind of slide up because the thing that you're leaning your back against to is on a free moving track, and it's angled a bit so that when it spins fast, it would start moving outward, and then you'd slide up on there. And then, of course, all the smart Alecs would start twisting around, turning themselves upside down so they could fall on their head when the thing slows down. But Sparky Toaster pointing out that if you've been to Hershey, you would remember the street lights, which, Hershey does have some awesome street lights. And thank you, Sparky, for the link. Let's bring that up. That way he finds it. He finds the content for us. And there you go. You can see that they got the Hershey Kiss street lights there in Hershey.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's cool.
I've driven through there many times on our way to a record store or something. One of the record stores that Gothard and I would frequent. Oh, this is
actually the town of Hershey, not this Hershey Park.
Yeah, this is the town of Hershey. Yeah, the town of Hershey also has cool. these lights.
Interesting street lights.
Yeah. So they are really cool. Some of them don't have covers and they're just a chocolate. Some of them got this little covers on them with the flag. But yeah, I do remember that. There we go. And as you recall, my senior year as Gothard and I like to joke, the senior year of college, I lived on a house that was just on the edge of the campus. That the college had bought some houses that were on the main street of the campus and turned them into extra dorm rooms. And so I had a room that was in one of those houses on U.S. Route 422, which runs into Hershey, which means that technically I did for a year live on the Hershey Highway. So there is. Anyways, yeah. So that was my story about finally figuring out that it wasn't Jack Stamp I was needed to be looking at. It was Philip Spark. Sparky Toast already again. That joke is old, Johnny. Yeah, I've told that joke many times over the years of doing this show. Of course, usually Gothard and I would take a 934 over to 322 and take that out to Ephrata because that was where the record connection is. So, that's not exactly the Hershey Highway, but it got us to the record store. Anyways, hey, your brother didn't show up this week.
I was going to email him, says, "Oh, you're going to join us this time?" But I didn't get to it.
Yeah, he was.
I had other things going on, so.
We got him in trouble last week, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
That was weird because we're talking, and then all of a sudden, this voice out of nowhere, "I really need your help here." I was like, "Whoa, what was that?"
I'm guessing. I was guessing. I'm guessing that he was getting some hints.
There's a hint, and there's being hit over the head.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
which more hints. Whack.
Which is such a contrast because he's such a easygoing, mild mannered guy, and then there's this, "I need your help." It's like, whoa. Now, Sparky Toaster wants to know if I rode through Intercourse to get to Ephrata. No, I think we went through Blue Ball. Although maybe I read the sign wrong and it was actually Blue Bell. But I thought it was Blue Ball. Well, that was Gothard. Because Gothard always pointed out, there's the Blue Ball laundromat. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's a Blue Ball laundromat. And I think another time when we finally drive past it, I took a closer look. I said, no, Gothard, that's not Blue Ball. That's Blue Bell. So yeah, that was actually I just found that Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. So no, that could have been a joke. It was Blue Ball, but it was actually no. That's a bit. Blue Bell is quite far from where we went. Maybe it was Blue Ball. Let me retrace my steps. Where's Ephrata? All right, so Ephrata is there, and Blue Bell is way east of that. So we got to start looking at what other towns are on 322. Clay, Brickerville, maybe there actually was a laundromat called the Blue Ball Laundromat that wasn't actually named for a town or anything. Now I'm going to have to look for that.
And you go, oh, I wonder if they're still in business.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yes, there is a Blue Bell laundromat. Yes, it is on 322, and it is near the Blue Bell Mobile Village, actually, and technically the address shows up as being in Ephrata. Yeah, that is not funny because it's not a ball, but
right.
Almost had a joke there. But it was just a misreading of the sign. But Sparky's just pointing out that there is a Blue Ball. There's a Blue Ball east of Ephrata. There's a lot of great town names. I always, sometimes a town name just strikes you as funny when you see it on a sign, and you're like, what the heck? The one that always sticks out to me is whenever driving to college, I'd be driving on 78. As I get close to the end of 78, there was some town called Ronruss. That's the best I can figure it's pronounced. Ronruss. I'm like, how the heck do you say that?
Of course, in Massachusetts, you have the town of that sure as heck looked like Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcester? How the fuck do you even get that out of?
Oh, right? No, it's Worcester.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
In some variations, yes.
Yeah, and that I've driven in and out of there many times because the Enernoc had an office in there.
My brother went to Worcester Polytech.
Worcester Polytech.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a town.
By the way, we were talking about unsafe schools. You decide, wow, look at this. I've been accepted to Yale University in beautiful New Haven, Connecticut. Does that come with a security guard?
No, it does not. You're on your own once you cross the street.
No, you're rich enough to, if you can afford to come here, you're rich enough to bring your own.
Oh, I forgot to turn the ticker on after I edited it.
Oops.
Anyways, just going back to town names that make us laugh. There it is. That is the town name that makes me laugh. Riversburg. How would you say
What the
that?
fuck?
Yeah, that is a town name in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And every time I passed the exit for that
Rrr.
town, I'd always stare at it and go, "What the fuck is that?"
Rursburg.
Riversburg.
But I like Colorado. They have some very straightforward names.
Yeah. Watch.
Now, most of them have turned into ghost town, but the town of Tin Cup.
Tin Cup.
How simple and easy is that? I love that name.
That's you can't mix that one up.
Unfortunately, it is a ghost town. Nobody apparently wanted to live there.
And
it's not like it's Asbestosville, right?
And Sparky Toaster sent us a link to some information about Riversburg. Riversburg is a census-designated place in Tulpehocken Township in northwestern Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Did you cough one up when you said that?
Yes, I did. Near Pennsylvania Route 419. The community was founded on April 4th, 1803 by John Jacob Ruhr. Residents celebrated the town's bicentennial on Saturday, September 20th, 2000.
Is that like a German name or something?
Probably. You know what? We really should ask Nick. He would know how to pronounce this. He knows weird things like that.
Dang. Hey, Nick. We got a question for you.
Sparky Toaster writing in, town of Tin Cup sounds like an old gold mining town.
Yes, sir.
But I was kind of
near. I think it's near Tin Cup. There's a town. I think there's a town called Marble. And they have a shitload of marble there.
Well, yeah.
In fact, on the way there, you see all these slabs of marble. Oh, they mined marble there for many of the buildings in Washington, D.C.
Ah. Oh, there you go. Man, the cat never came back.
He says, "I'm done with you guys."
I was just way too animated for this. She's fine. Yeah, it's funny. Today I had a call from at work. We are we're working on getting the office ready to open, and so the thing is that while we've all been working from home, anyone that was still using a desktop computer has been migrated over to a laptop. And that happened in stages over the past year. A lot of people got some old loaner laptops to get them by because, oh my God, we need to make laptops appear out of thin air really fast so that people can keep working. And then we, and there's nothing like having to work from home and having a bunch of tech problems come up to get accounting to approve the budget to buy a shit ton of laptops brand new. So we got the budget, we got the laptops, we set them up, we shipped them out. Everyone has a laptop. But all their laptops are still sitting on their desks in the office because no one goes into the office. So we never. So at some point, it's like, okay, before the office opens, which is not happening till mid-September, we need to figure out what to do about the desks. And the reason I never went in and took the desktops off of people's desks is because docking stations need to go on those desks. But we gave the docking stations that we bought for the laptops to the people that have the laptops so they can use them at home. So at some point, someone needs to answer the question. Are people going to be made to bring their docking stations into the office and buy their own docking stations if they want to continue using them at home? Or are we going to buy new docking stations for all the desks that need them? And when are we going to buy those? So... And these are all decisions that are made above my pay grade.
But you could also just get a separate power supply to use the thing at home, right?
But a lot of people, we bought people docking stations and monitors and mouse and keyboards.
Well, so you take the monitor, the docking station, mouse and keyboard, everything to the office, and then you go, okay, so if you want to use it at home, you will need a power supply. You can use the computer that way. Do you want a separate mouse, or do you want to travel back and forth with that mouse?
What's come out of this is that A, we learned that we can operate this business with people working from home, and B, a lot of people don't want to come back to the office full time. A lot of people do. A lot of people don't, and so they're letting people choose that on a department basis. What their department's going to do.
Okay, so
a lot of people want to continue working from home, and they want to keep their home equipment, but they also do need a desk available because they'll be required to come into the office like once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Can they just continue using the desktop that's there?
Well, no, because we don't want people to have 2 computers and then have to maintain 2 machines for other people. We bought these laptops to replace those desktops. We're retiring those desktops. Mind you, those desktops were getting to be over 3 years old. We were going to need to come up with a solution to replace them in the next year or 2 anyways. So, no. We don't want people to own...
So these laptops will go to the big laptop auction in the sky.
No, these are desktops.
I mean, the desktops. That's what I meant.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll be properly e-wasted. But the thing is that at some point someone decided, what if we had a soft open of the office for July so that if people wanted to go to the office, they could go to the office, but we make it clear that we don't have on-site support yet. It's just, use it as is. And this caught us in IT completely by surprise that they would do this, because I'm like, oh my God, half these people still have desktops on their desks that we've retired. They're going to go into the office and they're going to power on those desktops and start using them again. And then we're going to get in the office and say, no, that's not your computer. The laptop's your computer. And then they're going to say, oh, but I've saved stuff on here. And then we're going to have to go through desktop to laptop migration all over again. So me and my coworker, we decided to get our happy little butts into the office and get those desktops off the desks and stored away into the lab so people wouldn't use them. Of course, it's not our job to communicate to people that this is what we did. And that was never clearly communicated to people that, hey, your desktops have been removed from your desk. The only communication they got about that was, 6 months ago when I gave them a laptop, I told them, this laptop is replacing your desktop. At some point in the future when we return to the office, we'll have to set up a docking station on your desk, but that's still to be determined.
Let me ask another question.
Okay.
Have all of the information on the desktop been transferred to the notebooks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So
or is that all on a network?
So I don't want people to start using the desktops again.
Right.
Plain and simple. So that's why I was like, before this soft open happens, that they didn't run by us, get our input on, or ask us if there's anything we need to do about this.
Should you get a team of people to disable the passwords on those desktops?
Well, I mean, we could disable... We took them off the desks, okay? But...
Oh, you did take them off the desks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Sparky going, is Johnny of the mindset that people who want to work from home are the ones who just screw off all day, get paid to go grocery shopping, go for a walk in the park? No. In fact, I want to work from home. And so far, we're working on negotiating between going in 1 day a week or alternating between going in 1 day a week and 2 days a week. That's the negotiation that's going on between my supervisor and my supervisor's supervisor.
So do you think the company will reduce the footprint that they're using and rent out the extra space?
Maybe someday, but the lease isn't up yet, so that's not a decision that needs to be made anytime soon. Also,
well, it could be a sublease. You could do the decision immediately.
Demand is very low for office space in Boston right now, so that's not really...
Now, do you occupy the top end of the building? In other words, the top floor is one of the floors?
No, we're on 2. Well, we have 1.5 floors, kind of in the middle area of the building. Yeah.
But you could go down to 1 floor at some point,
right? If we decided to do a hoteling type of situation where we share desks, but being that is not on our plans at this time, so we're still maintaining everyone having a desk in the building when we return back in. Just that not everyone will be sitting at them.
Want to hear something really funny?
Okay.
So this one company decided everybody's going to move from a private office to a cubicle.
Right.
And they mapped it out, and if they converted this floor from office spaces to cubicles, you can actually put in more cubicles in, so you get, I think the number was something like 8 extra spaces for people, right?
Right.
So it's like 8 offices you're getting, right?
Right.
So then they did the calculation on how much would this project cost. It was $8 million. In other words, you would have a cubicle that cost them $1 million.
Wow, that must make you feel special if you get one of the $1 million cubicles.
That's right. Can you believe it?
Forget the corner office. I got the $1 million cubicle.
Exactly. Well, they don't have any private offices anymore.
Anyway, the point of this story is that there was one coworker that I have been working closely with because transitioning him to being his laptop and not having his desktop was a challenge for both of us. And you know me, I hate inconveniencing people. My job is to make their life easier. So when my things that I have to do that are supposed to make their lives easier make their lives more difficult, I'll bend over backwards to try to get a good spin on this. Like, hey, you have a laptop now. You could take it anywhere. I liked remoting into my desktop. It's like, yeah, but you just bring it back. Can I leave the laptop in the... Yeah, but you can't remote back it. Oh, okay. All right. But we eventually got there. But today was his first day back in the office, and I still had his docking station because he bought his own docking station to work from home. So since I had it, he's like, will my desk be set up? I said, we're not promising desk set up till September, but I have your dock. I'm going in the office next week. I'll have your desk ready for that, for July 19th. You'll be all set.
So this goes under the thing, the customer is always right.
Yeah.
And when he isn't, then you convince him of a different way.
Yeah, that's kind of my job. But the whole reason I'm telling this story is not because we're out of material, but because I made the call to him today to help adjust his settings, display settings, since he's, first time he was docking in the office, the laptop. And I make the call, and the video comes up on his screen looking very much like this, and the cat is sitting here very much like this. And he actually had to ask me, is that cat next to you alive?
No, I like to hang around with dead cats.
So I pet the cat, and she moved a little bit, just like now. And he goes, "Oh, okay, I see it moving now." And so that was was.
Hang on a second. I have a prop for this. Hang
on. Okay, prop. Brian's got to get his prop, but I mean, that was funny. That for a brief moment there, the possibility entered this guy's mind that I had a pet that had passed that I had stuffed and that I keep next to me all day to keep me company at work. Which I guess, for the way she just kind of lies here pretty quietly most of the day, I could do that someday. But it's funny. Is that cat alive? So that was my funny story of the day.
And this is where I wish that Steve was on the show, because Steve gave this to me.
Oh, Steve. Okay.
So he gave me this mug.
Okay.
Move it up so you can read it. Schrodinger's cat, right?
Okay. Schrodinger's cat. Yeah.
And then you picture there's the cat in the box.
Yeah.
Oh, when you have coffee in it, it will show you whether the cat is alive or dead.
Oh, okay. So you have to heat it up.
And actually, you buy these in pairs. One is the alive cat, and the other is the dead cat.
And then you just kind of mix them up.
And so he sent this one to me and the other one to my brother. And yeah, I put in the coffee because, hey, I'm going to use this baby, right?
Yeah.
And I got the dead cat.
You got the dead cat.
Yeah. So what we did when we got them, my brother and I took pictures of our mugs, and then we swapped pictures and says, hey, look at the cat that I got. In other words, I sent the picture that my brother got to Steve.
Yeah.
So, we tried to fool him.
Trying to fool him into who got the dead, who got the alive.
So it was fun.
Well, whenever you have a family reunion, you could always trade mugs so that you could alternate between. Yeah.
But this is a nice bag. It's like the perfect size to fit in the Keurig machine or whatever you want. It's
Well, it's Sparky Toast rating, and the best thing to do is to get the customer to think that they came up with the idea themselves of the way you want them to think. If you could do this, you win. Yeah, that's often. And someone wants to know if we want to be famous. No, I really don't want to be famous. I like being able to leave my house without being mobbed by a bunch of photographers.
Yeah,
so
can you believe it?
I appreciate the offer. It was very nice that you thought of me, but I'm going to stick to, relative obscurity. Those 5 people viewing right now, this is your own special little private show just for you. Millions of people out there probably would enjoy this, but they don't know about this. So it's just our little secret here. But feel free to invite all your friends if you want. I mean,
he's selling you followers.
Yeah, he wants to sell us followers.
Yeah, so you send him money and
a bunch of people follow you.
You suddenly have a shitload of followers for about a day.
They don't speak your language. They might not even be real people, but they'll follow you. And I know this because Dude once bought me Twitter followers. And
he did.
Yeah.
Oh God, do you still have those followers?
They kind of tapered off over the years. I used to. I think I still have a decent number, but not a good number. I have 392 followers at this point. I think I had.
Wow. You're not even trying. That's the cool part.
I think I had over 1,000 at one point when he bought me a bunch of followers.
I think I have something like 2,500 followers.
Okay,
but I've really worked at it. I would see someone with something interesting, I'd retweet him, and it responses, "Wow, I like that," or whatever comment that'd be appropriate.
Right. Well, one day I'm sitting at work at my desk at Tharco, and I had the Twitter app on my phone, and anytime something happens on Twitter, my phone would vibrate to alert me because I always leave my phone in vibrate because I don't like hearing noises. And one day my phone vibrates. You got a new follower on Twitter. Phone vibrates. You got a new follower on Twitter. Phone vibrates. You got 5 new followers on Twitter. For like the next hour, my phone is going fucking nuts, just lighting up. You got a new follower. You got a new follower. I'm like, and I look, and they're all foreign accounts that are obviously bots of some sort. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It was Dune. He bought me.
How much did he pay for that? Did he ever reveal that?
I don't. He never. It was one of those things with a little a nod, a wink, and a smile. He kind of let on that he might have an idea what happened, but he never flat out admitted to it.
Yeah, and did he use Bitcoin? Damn it, dude! What is he on? No.
He probably used what's worth $5 million of Bitcoin today to buy me those followers.
Exactly. Yeah, who's the loser? Oh God.
So yeah, that is. Let me tell you, Dune once bought me some Twitter followers, and I'm still not famous. So yeah.
That's a great story. I love it. Yeah.
Phone was moving itself across my desk. Bzz, 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 bzz. What the fuck's going on here?
So actually, I got a call, I think it was earlier this morning, from a person that said he was from Xfinity, and he was trying to get into my router for some update or something like that.
Right. That sounds legit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is my router, not Comcast's.
Not Comcast's. Which, although that is a big, I would never recommend someone get Comcast equipment. I generally recommend, buy your own equipment. It pays for itself in the long run. I mean, if they're going to charge you,
they do a lot of promotion about, our routers and our Wi-Fi is super better. And a friend of mine got it, although I'm not clearly sure what they sent him. But it wasn't any different than what he was using.
But, one of the biggest, and it's not like, oh my God, I have this happening every day, but it's one of the more problematic service test tickets I will get is people that are having some kind of a problem that something's working slow or something, or they're getting dropped off of Teams calls, or the VPN's dropping them frequently, or everything's just working slow when I try to work on my documents that are on the map drives over the VPN. And that ultimately comes down to you got a home network connection problem. And I know that that's a pain in the ass because I can't do much about it and I can't escalate. There are times where I had an end user that I went through every option I could to try to troubleshoot this, try to walk her through what the problems were, and try to walk through this is your home internet. But she had a boyfriend that works in IT, and he ran some tests, and he said that, everything looks fine for everything else, but we think that you might be dropping some packets. And I'm like, we're dropping packets? What does your boyfriend do in IT? Well, he's help desk. I'm like, yeah, he knows about as much as I do. Trust me.
Yeah, right.
He probably. Yeah. Well, it turned out that he had turned on some QoS settings on the router that were fucking things up, and once he turned those off, that helped some, but it still was problematic. But
right.
The point is that I got to a point where I was getting so much pushback that all I could do was turn around and go to the system engineers and go, I got an end user that's got VPN problems. I've troubleshot everything. I can't do anything. Could you help this person? And this guy would hammer me with, it is their ISP's problem. It is not our problem. It is outside of our scope. I cannot help them. And I'm like, dude, I cannot turn around and tell those people that. That is absolutely not how customer service works, and I'm in a customer service role. I need you to help me with this instead of telling me what we don't do. And this is why I don't always get along with the system engineers.
And you go, and I already knew that. We just have to come up with a way to say it that's customer friendly.
Well, and the thing is that he actually, here's the thing. He's the type of guy that he always gives me pushback, tells me all the reasons he can't does things, and then he goes and he does it.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it's like, could we just cut out this snarky conversation we always have to have before you help me? Could we just skip that part? Because then he schedules a call with, I didn't even ask him to schedule a call with them. I asked him to get on a call with me as well, so I could still be a part of this or see what he does and maybe learn a few new tricks. But he doesn't he likes to do his own thing on his schedule. So he schedules a call not really behind my back, but he didn't tell me he was doing that, and that's not what I asked him to do, but he did it. And I'm not mad at him about that, because kudos to him for getting in there and helping me, but he was telling me he wasn't going to help me and then turn around and help me in a way that I would have rather he didn't and included me, but whatever. So, but it was on that call with them that he talked to the boyfriend that works in IT, who then started revealing that he was playing around with certain settings in the router that was making things worse. So it's like, see, there are things we can do to help these people. But my favorite is when you get the person that, yeah, I have Comcast. Do you own your equipment? Oh, no, they provide it. Okay, here's what you do. You call Comcast. and they're responsible for that equipment. In fact, when did they give you that equipment? Oh, about 3 or 4 years ago. They update their models from time to time. You might be due for a free upgrade on that equipment you have. That might make things better. And there have been a handful of times that people go to Comcast, swap their modem for the new model, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's so much better." So that's when I like the Comcast modems, when other people I support are using them.
A friend of mine is using Comcast equipment.
Yeah,
this in the next town up. Okay,
right.
So my area had one of those brownouts. We were off for about an hour, and then it comes back on. When everything came back down, there was a power surge that didn't affect me. It zapped his place. And his router got fried, and then Comcast replaced it. Okay.
Yeah, because
so
it
was good in his case that it was Comcast and not his own.
Yeah.
Now, to me, the thing is simple. Yeah, I have my own router, and I make sure there's a good surge protector on all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, my dad got internet down the shore, and he got DSL, which sucks.
Yeah.
But
it sucks bad.
Well, there's a very specific reason he got it. My dad never got internet down the shore because, he goes down the shore to get away from it,
Yeah, sure.
He goes down there to sit on the beach and look at the waves and go for a dip in the ocean.
Now, is the place close enough to get your Wi-Fi? At the beach?
No. We're not on ocean block. No way. And even if we were, I mean, there's dunes that are up that you got to get a distance away from your house.
Sure.
Those houses on the boardwalk, those are millions of. That's prime real estate. Not to mention the maintenance, the upkeep, the insurance. It is
absolutely. Actually, with global warming, that house is going to be gone, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they built up. They built up those beaches pretty good. They brought in the Army Corps of Engineers to dredge sand to expand the beach out further than it's been for a while. They built up the dunes higher. We're maintaining our coastline.
Okay, so the dunes are acting like a seawall.
Yeah. Well, no, the dunes are up further back, and there's the beach, there's the dunes, but they recently dredged a bunch of sand to make the beach go out further. So there's more beach between the dunes and the ocean than there had been after Sandy. Sandy washed out a lot of the beach, so that's when they came in and built the beach back out.
Well, the interesting thing in Galveston, so after the 1906, well, they didn't call it hurricane then, but that's what it was, came in and basically wiped out the town. They built the seawall that protects the city.
Right.
But Galveston Island is like 3 times longer than that. They're only protecting the city. But now they have houses that are not behind the seawall.
People expanded out the area. They didn't expand the wall.
Instead, those houses are built on stilts.
Right.
So when the sea comes through, anything you were storing below your house gets washed out to the intercoastal waterway.
Yeah.
Or out to sea.
Anyways, the thing that pissed my dad off though is that usually my antenna reception on the TV ain't that good at the beach. So my dad would actually pay for cable TV down the beach for the summer months so that, come back from the beach, you could catch a Yankee game or whatever, know. Typically my dad will put on a Yankee game if that's on that evening.
So what is it, a different cable company?
I think it's Comcast down there, but the thing is that it's because it's a seashore town, and because there's a large customer base that only wants their cable turned on for 3 or 4 months out of the year. Comcast in that area has charged a significant deactivation and reactivation fee to
bastards.
So that way they get more out of you just to deactivate and reactivate it, which doesn't cost them that much to do.
Why don't you ask about temporary disconnection? Now
that is what it is.
Oh, but that should be almost like free.
Not here. No, my dad's looked in all that.
They're bastards.
So
can you
exactly? Yeah. So that's why my dad decided, screw them. I'm going to cancel the cable and I'm going to get DSL through the phone company, and then he's got those
Roku sticks.
Use Roku sticks, but DSL kind of sucks. So we got to deal with buffering every now and then.
Yeah.
Some periods of time it has buffering issues. Most of the time it's pretty good.
Yeah.
About 75% of the time, but 25% of the time we get some buffering issues. But because they do offer internet there through the cable company, but that's the company my dad's trying to get away from. So we got
now. So now does cable Comcast offer internet only there?
They probably do, but they probably offer the same deactivation, reactivation fees. But
at least it'd be cheaper, and you could consider having it on year round.
No, my dad is like so over that. Although I guess that is
fine.
My dad wanted to stick it to the cable company, and so that is why.
Have you looked at HughesNet?
I don't know. But anyways, point is that that's what my dad got, and then my brother helped my dad install some smart thermostats in the house.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, oh, this is good. I can monitor the thermostats and the temperature and all that remotely.
Do you know which one they got? I
don't know which one he got, but anyways. What my dad has had for years, when you have a shore house, a thing that's good to have is a telefreeze. It's a device that will sense the temperature that you connect to your phone line. And there's some older versions of it are very simple in that if the temperature drops below a certain point of time, it'll basically open the connection, take the phone off the hook. So you can call the house periodically. And if you get a busy signal, then you know that the temperature is dipped in the house and there's a problem with the heat there.
Wow, that's old school.
That's the type that my grandparents used.
Sure.
My dad bought a newfangled one that you can program your phone number into it, so it will call you and beep at you when the temperature goes below a different amount every 15 minutes, which means that one Saturday morning, the phone was ringing off the hook and beeping at me every 15 minutes while my parents were driving down to the shore. So
you guys have a landline and DSL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's always maintained a landline at both houses, really, that he barely uses because he just always had landline. And at this point, we had the landline at the shore to, had the DSL now. But anyways, but also my dad has that also so that the device that senses the temperature can call him if the temperature dips below. But he's like, well, I got the smart thermostat now. Maybe I could get rid of that, not set that up this winter because I could just monitor on my phone app. And I'm like, well, what if the internet goes out? What if the power goes out and knocks out your DSL modem? And my dad's like, oh my God.
that would come back up unless it destroy it.
Well, then when I mentioned that to my dad said, oh, you're right. Maybe I should set that up anyways as a backup. I'm like, yeah, the phone line I think is going to be more stable than keeping power and internet on at your house. If that modem gets knocked out, I don't. I trust the phone line way more than I trust that router. So, but sure enough, a week later, my dad. I'm talking to my dad, and he's like, "Yeah, the app stopped checking in with the smart thermostat. I don't know what's wrong, so I got to get check that out next time I'm down there." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So next time I'm talking to him, he goes, "Yeah, the modem went out." He's like, "You absolutely called that. The modem died."
That sucks.
Funny how the modem dies.
That hasn't happened to me. I mean, if I get a power outage, the modem. Well, I use a UPS, so it should hold on for a while because most of the outages are quick. Well, it's off for a little bit and then it's back on again.
What my dad,
but it always will come back up.
What my dad found out. Well, my dad found out, so my dad found out the modem was out. He had to go back and exchange it for another modem, which was a pain in the ass because he goes to a Verizon, I think it was through Verizon or AT&T. He goes to their store and they're like, oh no, we only have cell phones here. You got to go to our location a few towns over. He goes to that one and they go, oh no, we don't provide those. You have to call up and have that sent to you. So my dad calls the number and they say, oh yeah, we can mail that out to you, but we don't rent them anymore. We sell them. Would you like to buy one from us? And my dad,
was who?
I think
which
Verizon.
Outfit? Oh, they don't sell the modems anymore?
They sell them. They don't rent them.
Really?
They only sell them.
Bizarre.
I don't know if it's Verizon. I think it might be. Anyways.
Okay. Well, there are a bunch of carriers that still do that.
Right. But
landline or whatever.
So after that weekend, he's getting ready to, pack up. He's leaving. The neighbors kind of wave. He waves, rolls down the window. The neighbors are like, hey, do you lose any equipment? We had a lightning strike during the week.
Oh, shit.
And my dad's like, that's what knocked out the modem and router. Sparky Toaster writing in that DSL works fine. Majority of installations are not filtered correctly at the house. DSL is very sensitive to analog devices if not filtered correctly. Also, if the bridge taps are not cut out on the outside pole line, it will affect the DSL as well. So basically, if the installer is stupid who installs a DSL, DSL is going to suck. But installed correctly, DSL is fine. Well, the big thing is, though, is that DSL still doesn't have as high speeds on average as you do with cable. And also...
Yeah, but it should be, if it's stable, fast enough for your typical streaming. Okay.
Right. But
it was years ago when I first came here. I had it was Pac Bell at the time, DSL, and the only reason why it was brought to my house is because people on my block were Pac Bell employees.
Mind you, I don't know how good the phone lines are on the peninsula off the coast of the Jersey Shore.
But my point is that they shouldn't have provided me the service because this neighborhood is too far from the wire center. But they did it because there were employees there. Mm. So at one point, I was calling Pacific Bell every week to have them basically kick their equipment. And of course, they would talk to me about rebooting my modem and router and computer and all this kind of crap, which I would pretend to do because I knew that would not make any difference. Yes, I know. I wasn't sure about it either.
Now, Sparky Toaster pointing out that bonding cable pairs gives you higher speeds. G-bond. It sounds to me like we need to get Sparky Toaster on the phone with our DSL provider to teach them how to do their job right. So I'm thinking when we say DSL sucks, I'm thinking majority of the DSL that we've observed or dealt with has had some issues with the installation or issues with the local lines. And
the problem that I had was strictly that it was too far from the wire center. And there's nothing you can do about that. Improve the wire? No, it's just too damn far.
Well, I may as well.
Maybe they should have installed a booster closer because, hey, like, I think there were 3 houses on my block that were employees. I guess employees are of no value. Of course, as they were purchased by SBC, then became AT&T. Yes, they proved that employees have no value.
Right. But, well, I guess I may as well have with my DSL experience story, which was I moved to California, and I decided, best thing to do would be to get cable. So, I got cable internet because I knew I was going to need internet for the job hunt the way that, job hunting works nowadays, especially in the tech field. So I could justify, dipping into my savings and paying for cable internet without having, a steady source of income yet. And I had the cable. I got the job at Tharco. And then I kept running into problems with the cable, that the speeds were dropping in the area. And the guys would come out and they'd pretend to fix it, but it was a temperamental problem. And at some point, I had words with the supervisor because a guy comes out and he's giving me all the same lines. Well, did you check this? Yes, I checked that. Well, have you checked this? Check that. Well, I don't know. I'm like, well, I'm calling you people out here, every week. I want to fix this. And so he's like, let me talk to my supervisor. My supervisor's in the neighborhood. He's going to come over. So, he says, look, I don't know what we can do, but I can't keep sending my guys out to your place every week. I'm like, well, then I need you to find whatever this problem is and fix it. And I think he finally decided, well, we'll put in a work order. And so another guy comes out and he climbs the pole and he takes some readings and he comes down and he says, yeah, I see some numbers here that are concerning. I'm like, oh, great. So what are you going to do? He's like, well, I'm going to put in another work order. And I'm like, and what does that do? It's like, well, that's people are going to use that to determine what areas should be serviced, things like that. I'm like, okay, great. So someone's going to come out here and fix this? Well, maybe eventually. Yeah, I was getting a lot of non-committal. He's like, look, I come out, I take readings when people complain, I pass that along. Other people decide what to do with that data. I'm like, yeah, but how does that help me?
Nice.
So
that means eventually they'll decide to do something.
So I decided the only thing,
or maybe nothing.
So I felt helpless. The only thing I could do at that point was switch to DSL and see how that did. So I switched to DSL. I canceled the cable. I said, cancel my account. I'm done with you since you won't help me. And I signed up for DSL. DSL in my area was available to the highest speed. So I signed up for the highest speed package. I get the modem and I set it up with my router. And it's working. I do speed tests. I'm getting speeds that are of the highest speed and things are going great. About a month or 2 months later, I notice some problems. I do a speed test. My speed is in like the second tier of speed. It's not at the highest tier of speed. So I call them up to complain. I'm not getting the speeds that I'm paying for. And they say, yeah, you are. You're only in that package. And I'm like, no, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for premium. They're like, well, no, you're in the medium package. I'm like, put me back in premium. Oh, okay, we'll do that. Oh, that service isn't available in your area. What do you mean? Well,
but they were charging you for the premium, right?
They were charging me for the premium, and they were delivering premium speeds to me. But one day they decided my area no longer was available for the premium speeds.
But you still were paying for the premium speed, though.
No, right? they knocked. Well, this was before I got the next bill, but no, they moved me into that package. They were going to send me a bill for the lower speed package.
Oh, okay.
But I needed the higher speeds.
Right. And so what you're saying is that the medium speed was not adequate.
Right, and I knew they could deliver those speeds there because they were doing it up to that point. Right. And they said, "Oh no, we don't offer that in your area." Yes, you do. And this escalated to a point.
Yeah.
this escalated to a point where I basically ended up with a cancellation department, and I'm like, look, you could either give me the service you were providing me up until yesterday, or you can close out my account. And they closed out my account. And so then I signed back up with Comcast, and it worked great. I guess that work order finally went through during that, month or two that I was with the DSL. So yeah. Does that story make DSL or cable look good? I don't know.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, she's actually moved away now. She had Comcast cable TV and internet. Everything was fine, right?
Right.
The wire went over the street from pole to pole. Okay. Every week when the garbage truck came through,
oh no,
they would take out the cable.
Oh no.
And it would take 3 days to get the cable running again.
And then it would work for 4 days.
Right, exactly. Or if they're lucky, it would be work for 2 days, and then it'd be down again.
Oh man, that is. Oh.
It's like, that this is the garbage truck coming through. Is doing this. You could talk to the garbage company. It is, blah 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 brand, or you could move your cable either higher up on the poles if there is that space.
Yeah, Sparky Toaster
or
ready to mount the cables higher.
A line. That would not be that difficult or even that expensive.
Well, that reminds me of we had some roots that were growing right near the sewage line to the apartment we had in Oakland. And every now and then, that's when I found out what happens when the sewage line gets blocked in our apartment. Sewage backs up into our tub is what happens.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that's really gross. And so multiple times I had to have someone called out to pull a root out of our sewage line.
Right. Get Roto-Rooter or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've in our beach house, we've had that happen twice.
Ooh.
So so we have to watch. But actually, so there is a vent right outside the bedroom window. Typically what happens is when it starts to back up, you see this toilet paper flowing down the side, out of the side, the sidewalk on the side of the house.
Oh, we got that once. We got a bunch of toilet paper.
Toilet paper. There's the sign.
In the But the problem we had was that, mind you, I was renting an apartment, which meant that this was only my problem as far as the way it was impacting me. As far as responsibility for fixing the problem, this was not on me. So I called the landlord. The landlord would call people out, and the people would go, well, you got a problem with roots going into the lines. And at that point, the landlord would say, it's a city line. Tell the city to, pay the money to fix it. And the city would say, well, no, it's on your property. You're responsible. So there was debate over at what point in the line the problem existed and, whose responsibility.
Whose responsibility,
right? It's on your property. It's on your line.
Farco, when AT&T and Pac Bell were separate companies, when there would be an internet connection problem, it would be one company pointing fingers at the other company. Hey, now you're combined. So whose fault is it now?
Yeah. Well, my favorite was, every time it rained at Tharco, the phones would go out because there was a bad line on our street. And when Bo was the CEO, Bo would get really bitchy every time this would happen because in Bo's mind, this happens every time it rains. This is IT's responsibility. This is Dale's responsibility. Why isn't Dale fixing this fucking problem already? And so Bo would sometimes do that thing where he'd walk into Dale's office and say, I'm mad at you. Which, you didn't want to hear those words, but he wasn't going to scream at you. But you knew Bo wasn't happy with you if he said, I'm mad at you. And I kind of remember I asked Dale, is there anything we can do about this? Can we switch phone provider? And Dale goes, we can switch phone providers, but the problem is that phone provider is still going to use the same phone lines. They're still owned by the same entity. So we open a request with them. They push back to them. At the end of the day, it's up to them to fix the phone lines. And if they're not going to do it, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, switching phone providers is going to cause a bunch of hassle expenses for us and not fix the problem. And I'm like, okay, that's all you need to say to me. I don't know how we're going to get Bo to get that, but, you know.
Right.
But anyways, on that note, we've reached the end of another fun-filled edition of
Insert Title here.
But, you know, we do try to be educational here. And I think we've all learned a whole lot this week. Brian, what have you learned this week?
Don't get DSL.
And
by the way, here's another option. And this is what my brother has been experimenting with. There are a couple of phone providers that offer super cheap 5G wireless.
Okay.
So you get rid of all of that BS and just use a 5G phone.
Well, there you go. That's an option. Although usually they put data caps on tethering.
I think the cheap provider doesn't do that, but I don't know. That's a good point.
Now, Sparky Toast writing in.
You have to kind of go, oh, by the way, do you have caps on tethering? Because that's what I'm going to do.
Now, Sparky Toast writing in, Brian, it might be an expensive valve and maybe not allowed, but I would install a shutoff valve in the sewer line entering your house when you're not there. Then when it backs up, it can't enter your house. You know, turn it off when you're not there, turn it on when you are there. And Sparky Toaster learned nothing. Again.
That's actually probably a good selection. We haven't had the backup when we weren't there.
Well, I think Sparky learned that I don't know very much about shopping for battery chargers. But I guess Sparky could have already guessed that about me. Right.
And I have to admit that that's something that I did learn.
I've learned that when you buy a really cheap battery charger on Amazon, you get what you pay for. And yeah, Sparky Toaster confirming that I do that already, Johnny.
Right.
And I learned I learned that a can of wasp spray is adequate to clear a car of its problems, as long as it's someone else that goes out there.
Oh, another thing I learned,
if
you're going to get into Demolition Derby, you want a Chrysler Imperial.
Yes, we did learn that. And I learned that Quiznos has severely cut back on their number of locations.
Yeah.
And I've also learned that you can't find a roly-poly anywhere anymore, and they may have only ever been in Jersey.
Yeah.
And, And
and Subway has a new menu.
And Subway has a new menu, and Dune apparently a little testy about the whole DNA test thing. Pun not intended.
Oh.
Well, yeah, he wrote that comment about, that they were absolutely trying to badmouth Subway, and which I don't know.
It's probably true. Yeah.
It could be. I don't know. I think it was an innocent experiment. Curiosity.
Yeah. Was
it funded by Burger King? I don't know.
One of the origins was San Francisco, and they hate business. Let's just face it. I agree with them.
It might be an anti-business angle, like, fuck these businesses.
Right.
Which, the thing is, though, is that, okay. You know what, though? If you're going to read bad reporting on inaccurate tests, whatever. I mean, the bottom line is do you like a Subway tuna sandwich, or would you prefer
actually, that's one of the more common ones that we get. I would say 1/3 of the sandwiches that we buy, because we are adults, we say sandwich. When you say sandwich to a guy behind the counter, he's probably looking at your crotch because he figures you're 5 years old.
I like saying sandwich.
Either that, he's got a thing about your crotch.
This is a silly show. I like to use silly words from time to time.
Of course.
And sandwich is a pretty silly word.
So my explanation was just a silly explanation.
Well, I learned
hoping that the guy behind the counter is not looking at your crotch.
And I've learned that if
that could be creepy. What the hell here, man?
Well, you know, Ryan, this just reminds us all about Jared, and I'm not going to touch that with a 50-foot pole, but no, I also learned that the next time I go to a Subway, I should order the turkey bird bacon sub instead of the tuna fish. If you're going to say tuna fish, we should say turkey bird.
Yes,
all
turkey
right.
bird. Yes,
all
can I
right.
have a turkey bird?
I think Sparky's waiting for us to find someone to raid to decide whether or not he wants to hang out with them
or find his own.
Yeah, so we should find someone to raid here. So let's see who is live right now. That could be interesting. And so let's see. There's a channel I'm following called I Suck Drums. I come from a distant moon to smash drums and eat hot dogs, and I'm almost always out of hot dogs. Let's see if they're live jamming right now. Oh yeah, she's actually holding a guitar, and it looks like there's some kind of a collaboration going on between two streamers. This could be good. All right, this is probably another Twitch find because I don't think I've actually watched this channel on my own yet, but it's something I probably followed during a Twitch find. So let's go ahead and raid them and check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. I Suck Drums. We're going to go check out I Suck Drums. I don't remember that name at all. Maybe they were called something different when Dune featured them. I don't. Not ringing the bell. Anyways, good night.
Good night.
Zombie?
Did our raid happen yet?
Yeah, we raided with a party of 2.
Woohoo!
Johnny Gators just raided us with 2 people. What's up? What's up, Johnny
That's
Gators?
barely a raid. Sparky wanted me to raid an Asian in a hot tub.
I don't know if Johnny Gators has ever been. What's Sparky Toaster? You guys have some cool names. Johnny Gators. I don't trust you around my kids in Florida. But welcome. Should we play him a song?
All right. Well, that was fun.
We'll see ya.
Hey,
yeah.
Good night.
All right.